97%. What is the probability of the person who has bought iPhone, diaper, or beer to purchase aftershave? That is 98%. So what I can do is next time if somebody comes to a shop, I can. Don't you think if the person has purchased iPhone, beer, or cornflakes, don't you think I should offer them biscuits also? The shopkeeper can go and, you know what, sir, you have purchased these three items. You can buy some biscuits also. I can go and definitely tell them. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So what do you recommend here? There's a new customer visiting the shop, and he purchases iPhone, beer, and cornflakes. The shopkeeper will go to the person, and what do you think the shopkeeper can recommend? Which item you think he can recommend?
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yes,
Because
correct.
single, that's why.
He's single, yes. I was hoping you guys would go with the major probability of 98. Why not? Why not aftershave?
Yeah,
Depends
sir.
upon the items which the person brought.
Correct, correct. The probability here is greater here because aftershave falls under different category because the purchaser not purchased any diapers. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So this is the science I'm going to relate to understand the pattern. So this is called as recommendation engine. This has been used by Amazon and 35% of their revenue is generated only from this. How many of you are using Amazon in your mobile?
I am.
I have used.
I use this.
Yeah, I should ask how many of you are not using. So whenever you purchase or whenever you try to when you go to purchase any item, don't you think you get this recommendation? Customers who have viewed this item has also viewed these products.
Yes, we do.
So
Every time.
don't you think Amazon is like that same shopkeeper who is trying to sell more?
Yes.
So this is all coming from recommendation engine. So with this limited data, what you understand that what are the things you have used? You have used math, correct, whereby you did some probability, and you also a unique skill called as your the domain knowledge, because you related yourself in working in a retail shop and you understood what could be the purchase pattern, what are the items, how could it be stacked, correct?
Yes.
Now suppose in the same shop, if one or two person visits the shop, maybe the shopkeeper can recommend them which item to purchase. But do you think only there could be only two people visiting the shop? No, right? If your
Yes, sir.
supermarket is in city with the very crowded area, there could be thousands of people visiting every day.
Yes,
So
sir.
it will be very difficult to carry out that.
Yeah, it will be difficult.
Difficult.
Correct.
Like individually, if you have to check, it would be very difficult.
Very difficult, yes. That's why we need some platform to analyze it. Don't you agree?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Algorithm.
Correct. That is why we use coding language called Python. So how many of you are here from programming background?
I am from final year BCA, sir. I
Okay, you
have
know.
Python course under Royal Sir itself.
Okay. So which are the languages you know?
Presently, I know Java,
Mm-hmm.
Python,
Okay.
and C++, all the basic languages.
Okay. And what about others?
I'm a first year BSc student, so just started with the C language.
Okay. And who is remaining now?
I'm from BCom, sir. I'm learning Python now.
Okay.
I'm from first BCA. We've learned C and Excel and all.
Okay. Excellent. So if you feel that Python is something new, like don't worry, we are going to teach that from the scratch. from I think maybe this week we'll upload few starter packages. So how many of you know a little, at least basics of statistics, or do you feel it is very scared to learn statistics, like there is a lot of math involved or something?
No, sir.
No, sir. I know basics of stats.
Yeah, I was a stat student in PU and now, so I don't feel it's difficult.
See, the statistics what we use in data science, you don't have to be come from statistics background. All the stat what we use here, it was mostly covered in your schools, high schools. The concepts like mean, median, mode, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So let's go to the second case study. You know about retail chain called Target in US?
Yes, sir.
So this Target had around 60 team of strong and analytics team, and they were so strong and they were able to predict. So who predict the pregnancy, whether the woman is pregnant or not. They were that strong based on their purchase pattern. So I'm going to tell you a story that once upon a time, what happened was an angry man. So he went to the shop, he went to the Target store and he started screaming at the manager. So he started screaming, saying that you guys are not doing it properly. You're sending all the pregnancy flyers to my house, and this is a very bad sign. Upon deeper inquiry, the Target's manager came to know that he is having a daughter who is just 16 years old. Okay. So after 2 weeks of time, the same person visits the Target store once again, and this time he's not angry. He's very calm. He meets the manager, and he apologizes for his behavior also. So turns out the daughter was pregnant, but she did not reveal her father. And do you think it was Target's job to reveal that to her father? Hello. Has everyone understood the story?
No, sir. They're not that clear. Could you repeat it, sir?
Yes, sir. Could
See,
you repeat?
one angry person goes to a Target store, okay, and in the store you have the store manager, right, who looks after everything.
Yes, sir.
So what Target used to do, they used to send a small flyers to houses, giving a lot of ads. Like what they did, they targeted all the pregnant women and they sent flyers to their houses, saying certain discounts on what are the new pregnant women. I mean, whatever the fruits, the supplements, what they take, the offer on those supplement products. Okay. So what happened was, this person came and yelled at the manager and told that not to send those flyers because there is nobody who pregnant in his house and his daughter is only 16 years old. Okay. So after 2 weeks, the same person comes back to Target store and apologizes because his daughter was being 16 years, she was pregnant, but she had not told her father that she was pregnant. But since due to her purchase behavior, Target had already came to know, and Target had sent the flyers to their house. What Target did not understand was she was underage. So the question here is, do you think it was Target's job to inform their parents that she was pregnant?
Obviously, sir. It would be her responsibility to let her
Correct.
parents know.
Correct. So
And
data could be so strong that it could even break the family.
yes, sir.
So you might be aware of the US elections, where what Cambridge Analytica did was it leveraged the Facebook data and predicted that Trump would win the election, and it actually happened. So all I'm trying to say is that the data could be so powerful that it could literally change the outcome of a democracy.
Yes, sir.
So that is the reason why you have to use the data in a very
Careful or like
careful way. Yes, very wise way. So Target had 60 member data mining team. Like they were able to predict. The team was so strong that they were able to predict if a movement shopper is expecting her kid. Okay, and they were even able to predict the approximate, date for her birth giving. Okay, and they could even predict the income level of a person based on the purchase history. So they use all this data to attract new customer, and they decided they strategize their branding based on this data and in their insights. So moving on to what is data? What is data? So data could be anything, right? Anything around you is data. If I have 2 bottles of water on my table, don't you think that is data?
Yes, sir.
So data is anything. It could be sequence, it could be number, it could be characters on a page, or it could be some sound recordings, or it could be moon rock specimen also. How do you think moon rock specimen is a data? Anybody has any answer? How do you think moon rock specimen, rock found, a rock from our mother planet moon?
There is some information behind it through
Correct.
which we can analyze.
Correct. There is a lot of information, whether there is water on moon, whether there is iron on moon. All that information is hidden in the rock specimen. So that is data. So what is data science? Basically, data science has 3 pillars. One is the domain knowledge, one is computer science, and the third one is math and stats. Okay, how many of you attended the webinar we conducted a couple of weeks back?
I had
Yes,
attended.
Attended, no? So if
Yes.
in case you have now missed that, the recording is already there in the LMS portal. You can see you can, maybe if you want, you can fast forward it and understand like the 3 major pillars, how it could how each and every pillar is important in its own way. So everything is explained in that webinar. Okay, and coming to this point here, do you think you should master all the 3?
As per last talk, you told any one we should be very good at, and other two we should have
Correct.
some knowledge about it.
Correct. That is why here there's a concept called as team. It's not like you will be the only data scientist who are going to be solving the problem, because it will take a lot of years to complete it. And being the data science is always a teamwork. So one of the member in your team will be good in math and science, math and stats, and average in other 2. One will be exceptional with the domain knowledge and with little bit of programming and math, and the other person will be very exceptional computer science, but not so good in understanding the domain. Correct? So when all the 3 people combine and work on a problem, don't you think the problem will be solved immediately? Because everybody is coming from a different blend, and the teamwork will gets the job done. Correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So,
So data science is all about team. You don't have to be focused on only one you don't have to burden yourself with all the 3 domains. You have to focus on. You have to master one, and you have to be good in the other 2. And data science, there are 3 things in data science, that is where, what, and how. So you're going to solve these 3 points. So how exactly you're going to solve? I'll tell you in the next slide. So there are 3 basic understanding in data science. One is the analytics or BI. It shows what has happened. Data science shows why it has happened. And machine learning, what it will do is it will leverage the data and says that how you can predict or automate the decision making. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So I will give you one more example of a case study. So to give you the understanding of the difference between these three. Okay, you know the company Amazon, right?
Yes, sir.
So Jeff Bezos started Amazon in the year 1994. So in the year 1994, Jeff Bezos started Amazon. He started with what? He started with selling books. And in the year 1994, he sold 2000 books. Okay. Now the year is 1995. So Jeff Bezos now wants to understand how many books did he sell, which books had more profit margin, which region in US had more sales, which region in US had lesser sales. Okay, so these are the only question he will understand. He don't want. Do you think in 1995 he will build a drone and build some AI model to collect the books from his warehouse and drop it to the customer? No, right?
No.
In 1995, he is only worried about how was his sales during the last 1 year, and he is only focused on how to optimize it further. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that is where your BI, business intelligence, or where you use the tools like Power BI or a Tableau or even Python, just to do the basic data analysis and understand how the sales went on. Here I apply very basic concepts, basic statistic concepts like mean, maximum, minimum. Correct?
Mode.
I don't think we will use mode analyzing the book sales. I can say it as count. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Not the mode. I normally I don't see the mode sales, right? I'll see the average sales. If Jeff Bezos is selling 2000 books in US, I take a small state of Minnesota and I see what is the sales over there. What is the average sales in that particular state? Correct?
Yes.
So I see the average. I will not use the mode over there. Maybe I may use the count, like how many books sold in the state of Minnesota, correct? Or how many books sold in Washington. So in the year 1995, when Jeff Bezos is looking after his 1 year business, he is only focused on his business performance. So business performance is only the main target, and building AI model or building any machine learning model is not a good idea here. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Hope you guys are making note of everything. So the year is now 1999. Okay. 1999, and it's been 5 years since the business has started. Now Jeff Bezos is not only selling books, he is also selling other products also. Okay. Now he has a lot of data compared to what he had previously in the year 1995. He is having lots of data. So Amazon had become a huge company by then, and also sales were huge. Correct. Now, do you think we'll only apply the basic statistics to analyze what has happened?
No.
Only basic statistics would not be enough, I guess, sir.
Correct. So we need some deeper insights, right?
Yeah. To
Something
make
like,
perform method generally.
could you repeat that again, please?
To perform any method in terms of like general method, kind of.
Correct. So statistics, basic statistics would not be enough. You want deeper insights because you need to find certain hidden hidden sites from the data to explore that and to build new models. So what Jeff Bezos would do is like he will hire a strong statistics team. He will leverage give the data to that team, okay, and that team will try to explore the data. That is something called as exploratory data analysis or EDA. So this is a statistically sound concept called correlation. So what they do is they will use this concept of correlation to find the link relation between certain topics. Something like if a person has had purchased book A, and after some time he'll end up buying book B. Okay, and this has happened everywhere. So the team find out that 81 people out of 100 who have purchased book A will end up buying book B. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think the correlation is between book A and book B?
Because of one book, there is the sale of another book.
Okay. Any other topics? Any other inputs from others?
0.81% correlation.
Could you repeat?
0.81%, sorry, 0.8, like the coefficient of correlation we could tell, or
Correct.
there is a strong correlation, positive
Yeah.
correlation. We could
Why there could be this strong correlation? What do you think could be the relation between this book A and book B?
Because more than like it is 100, so more than 50 people have taken it, so kind of there is a very good relationship or
Yes, that has
connectivity
happened.
between.
That has already happened. Now we are checking why it has happened. Now we are checking why it has happened. So in order to do that, we are trying what is the difference between book A and book B. Correct? Maybe it
Yes,
could be a
sir.
part of the series. Have you heard about Harry Potter series?
Yes.
So person A bought the first part, he ended up liking it and he purchased the second book also. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Maybe it could be same genre. Like the first book talks more about the adventure, and it's from the maybe it could be about same author. Correct? J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter, and she writes one more book. Everybody will jump pounce on it.
Yes, sir.
Or it could be same topic.
Or it may be like it's the second book is the continuation or series of the first book.
Yes, correct. So why it has happened is more important in EDA. So what, based on the insights, what could you suggest to Jeff Bezos? You are in the team of the data scientist that he has hired in 1999, and you found out that there is a 81% correlation between book A and book B. And based on that, you find out that it's a part of series or it's same genre. So what do you think what insights you can give it to him to maximize his business?
Whoever will visit the book A, so we'll like suggest them that many have bought this also,
Hmm.
which will be done in actually in Amazon. They do that.
Correct. Or what you can do is you can give a combo offer and to attract the balance 19 customers also out of 100. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is how you maximize the sales. So that is why people call data is the new oil. If you don't dig it, if you don't use the data, you will lose this opportunity. So moving on to the last one, machine learning. So now the year is 2025. Okay. Now Amazon is not just into selling books or products; it is into a lot of things. They are selling everything, like they're selling all the household items. They're selling groceries. They're selling vegetables. And now, do you think doing only EDI is sufficient? Only finding the correlation, suggesting the customer what to buy, which book to buy. Do you think that is only sufficient? The data is too much. Do you think you can do that kind of math?
No.
So now coding it manually is very difficult, right? Not
Yes,
difficult, it is next to impossible. Because we have billions of products and we have billions of permutation combination we need to apply.
yeah.
So I can give an example, like if a person purchases phone A and he purchases X headphones, and another person he purchases phone B with Y headphones. So trying to find the link is very difficult. So EDA will not solve this problem. So that is where your machine learning will come into picture, where you pass the data into the machine learning algorithm, correct? So you feed the data to machine learning algorithm, and machine learning algorithm will find the pattern to understand what could be what could be the different patterns, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So once you pass the data to machine learning algorithm, it will not just predict the correlation between book A and book B. It will also find a correlation between a broom and a pan. I mean a dust collector. So today, what recommendation you see in Amazon in your mobile application in your website, right? It is 100% automated. There is no person sitting behind it to suggest you which item to buy along with which other items. And do you think the job of data scientist is over by doing machine learning?
No, sir.
Correct?
They have to see what the people do after that and also plan.
Correct. Machine has no brains, right? Machine will
Yeah.
only do what you ask it to do. So there is something called as continuous improvement process, CIP, continuous improvement plan or a process. So time to time, somebody has to check the model again and again if based on the latest data whether your model is behaving perfectly, or you need to make some changes, because you see that every day the trend changes. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So who is a data scientist? John Will says that a person who is better in statistics than any software engineer and better at software engineering than any statistician. So you got the idea here? If you put all the statisticians together and you put a data scientist in between them, so compared to all other statisticians, better data scientists can do better coding. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And if you put all the software engineers in one place and you put a data scientist over there, data scientists can predict better, use better statistics than any other software engineer. Correct?
Yes, sir.
That is what he's saying here. So you might get to hear a lot of things like data scientist is a new breed, and even Harvard is saying a lot of things. But don't get carried away with this. Your turn will come. You have to now be patient, learn everything concepts, and be ready for the market, so that you can enjoy all the new things which are going on in the market. Okay. And also there are a lot of trend, and I mean the daily learning is continuous. Now you have machine learning, and now the artificial intelligence is going on, and maybe in next 10-15 years reinforcement learning will come in place. It's going to be little, I mean, the learning has to be continuous. It's not like you finish a course, then you get a job, and you start getting experience in working, and sooner or later you came to realize that there is some more things which are going on in market. You have to learn that also. So learning is continuous. You have to keep learning yourself. You have to keep upgrading yourself. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So let us do some deeper discussion. Is data science art or a science? What do you think?
Combination of both.
Correct. The answer is both. So I'll give you an example. So you are a customer and you come to me for a business problem. Okay. Your sales has gone down, and you come to me. I am a data scientist here, and you come to me with the business problem. So I'll do a lot of statistical research on the company and come back with some results. Okay. So let's listen to the conclusion very carefully, and tell me what you understand. Okay. So you come to me. I'll start something like, sir or madam, basis of analysis you had asked me to do, I did certain multivariate analysis only to find that post my hypothesis testing, the p-value turns out to be 0.05, which statistically says that my null hypothesis doesn't qualify, and that is the reason I won't agree on your business solution. Do you think you being a customer will understand anything on this?
No, sir. It's difficult.
It's very difficult, right?
More of a scientific way or statistical way.
Correct. This is like garbage to you. You will not understand anything. So now I will present the same solution in a different way, and listen to this statement very carefully. Tell me, would you as a customer appreciate or not? Okay. So I'll start once again. Sir or madam, on the basis of the problem statement you had given, the losses that you are facing primarily in your business is because of the decline on sales in your eastern zone, where we see that there is a high correlation between your product and your competitor's product. Because of this, the customers are confused. They intend to buy more of your competitor's product than your product. So that is the reason why you are losing business in eastern zone of India. So now, don't you think this makes more sense to customer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is why, even though you learn a lot of complicated algorithms and to learn a lot of statistical methods to predict and analyze, ultimately when you have to present to the customer, you have to keep it as simple as possible. Correct?
So user friendly method.
Yes. The thing should be as in a layman's form. It should be as simple as possible. So you should be an artist to present the science. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So now see this diagram on your right side. You can see like in that circle, you will see the data of 1 million credit card frauds, insurance frauds, correct? Okay. So in the circle, you have all the small dots, correct?
Yes, sir.
So all the small dots are your good claims, and all the larger ones are your fraud claims. So do you think this map is very clear to you? This looks very clear, right? See, there are all the small, bigger dots here connected to the small dot, coming that the person who did a good claim first ended up taking all the fraud, doing a lot of fraud. Correct? So if I give the same data in a document, do you think it will be difficult? Easy for you to understand it? No, right?
Pictographical is more
Convenient, right?
and
Yes. So 1 million points right in front of your eyes, it is easy for you to understand with just some explanation at the side. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So that is why we call it data science is both. Even though when you learn a lot of concepts, you have to learn. You have to also learn that you have to present it in a very smooth and very clear manner, so that even though if I being a customer, I don't know anything what I'm seeing on the screen, I should understand what it is. Okay, we'll take a small break. We'll resume it around 12:10. Is it all right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So I'll be away from screen for some time, and 12:10 we'll resume. Is everyone back? Should we start or should we wait? Hello, is everyone back?
Yes, sir.
So,
Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So as I said earlier, we have some more slides on hyper reality, like what the package could be, how the data scientist job role is, and everything. So slowly, when you try to learn more about it, and when you every day when you do some research about it, it will be more clear and clear to you. Okay. So don't worry about the package and all, because data scientist being the most on-demand job, data scientist as well as data science, I mean data analyst or machine learning engineer. So, and they're taking giving the major concern with the job is that you are the decision maker. Like you, whatever you are going to give the decision. So whatever the insights you're going to get, based on whatever insights you're going to present, based on that, organization will take the decision. So in terms of that, you will be paid a lot. So don't worry about that. Okay. So here are a few of the, why exactly, how the package is like. There is a shortage in talent because there are very less scientists out there, and too many requirements. Okay. And you may see that a lot of people posting it as the position as data scientist, but many of them will be working in Excel ultimately, not in Python or something. And your decision directly value for business, and every organization has enormous amount of data now. It's not like we are in 1990s. So every organization you go, you have lot of data that needs to be analyzed, and lot of insights needs to be taken out from it. And the data scientist job is not just restricted for tech giants. Like it should not be focused only on IT sector. The requirement is everywhere, even manufacturing or any industry you go, like healthcare. Everywhere the requirements are there. So what makes a good data scientist? One is the effective communication. So that is the reason why I ask you guys to speak out in this session. It doesn't matter if it is wrong, if it doesn't matter if you give the different ideas compared to the topic. At least you speak up, and it will help you in your future. Correct? So now
Yes, sir.
nobody's speaking up.
Yes, sir.
And one more aspect is, as a data scientist, what scientists do is they normally experiment right here and there. So you will be doing the same thing on the paper, and you will be, while doing the experiment, you will be curious to know more about it, and you will be curious to learn more about other algorithms and see how it behaves. So that is the sign of a good data scientist. So as and when you do these experiments, as and when you work on a lot of data and understand a lot of insights, what you do is you're gaining an important topic called domain or industry knowledge. So any data, today you analyze some automotive data, you understand that high power vehicle will go faster. Correct? Excuse me, I have to take this. Sorry, I had to take one important call. Hope it's okay. Where were we?
Domain knowledge, sir.
Yes. So we discussed about having effective communication because you will be presenting a lot of insights that you collect from the data to the top management or to customer or to the stakeholders. Okay. And you have to be as curious as possible. Like any data you explore, you should be more and more curious about it. Like for suppose you are exploring a retail data and you need to understand like what is the average sales per invoice, so how many items are purchased buying on an average, how many items they buy, and when it comes to any automotive data, what is the top speed of a car, how many cars are sold in a day, like that. Okay. And doing all that now you're gaining lot of domain knowledge, so that knowledge will help you in future while taking any decision or while taking any doing any analytics. Okay. And with the collective information you will be gaining an ability called as analytic problem solving skills, so you will be able to make something called as data driven decision making. So you're not taking the decision based on your experience, you're taking the decision based on the what data is telling you what is best for the market. Like how we solve the correlation problem, we noticed that people who purchased book A ended up buying book B also. Sooner or later, they ended up buying book B also. So what we found out, there was a high correlation with the both the items. Maybe it could be the same topic, it could be of the same author. So we found that there is a high correlation, and that is what helped in making the decision that let us may give a combo offer in the market. Correct? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So problems that data science solve. I think this will be a very important slide, and I want you to guys note down this topic. What I noted, what is there on the screen, plus what I'm going to make the note now. Okay. Have you noted it down? Let me know once you finish writing it down.
Yes, sir.
What about others?
Done, sir.
Okay. So is this A or B? It's a classification. Okay. How do you classify? I'll give you two items. Okay. Let me see.
Done, sir.
You want to go? You want me to go back to the previous slide? No, right? Everybody completed, right?
Completed, sir.
Okay. So I have two kinds of fruit here. Fruit A and fruit B. Okay. So fruit A is red in color, it's sweet, and it's round. Whereas fruit B is huge, it's green on outside and it's red on inside. Okay. What do you think the first fruit is?
Apple.
Yes. And the second one?
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Yes, correct. So here what you're doing is you're trying to find the you are trying to classify the fruits based on their features, like how the color is, how do they look, what does the taste like, correct? So this is what you will be doing in classification. So in the previous slide, these are the 5 major algorithms where you will be working on as a data scientist. Consider 4 because reinforcement is still under research, it's not in a developed stage. So these are the 4 algorithms, like you can take any business problem and that those problem can be solved either one of the category of algorithms in this. I believe I had explained this in the previous session also. So coming to the classification. So now in a simple words, I'll give 5 pebbles. I'll give around 20 pebbles. Which is having green color, blue, red, and yellow. Okay. Five pebbles are green in color, 5 are blue, 5 are red, 5 are yellow. Total 20. Okay. I'll give them to a child. What do you think the child will do? At the best, it will classify, right?
Arrange green together, blue together, according
Correct.
to the.
Correct. So it is more or less same only. Even a small child just looking but the color understood that this should go to one group, the other pebble should go to the other group, right? In a similar way, what you have to do is you will be studying more and more features. Suppose if you have to identify the voice of people and classify them whether it's a male voice or a female voice. Okay, so you will have a lot of input features like the frequency. The male voice is having higher frequency, the female voice is having slightly lower frequency, and in all other features, different features. And you're going to classify them whether it's male or female. This is the type of a problem which is called as classification. Correct? So when it comes to output, I had explained you earlier, like there is the discrete and there is continuous, right?
Yes, sir.
The one is qualitative, which is countable. Okay. Another one is quantitative. That is continuous. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So qualitative is countable in the sense like you can count the how many features are there. Like it could be number of days.
So
If
it's
you have
about the
the
opposite, right?
no, this is qualitative. Qualitative is countable, and quantitative is continuous. Correct? No.
Okay, sir.
So what you have to understand is that classification problem is the problem where you classify, right? It is countable. It is not like the target output. The output should be like either yes or no, true or a false. Correct? If you are classifying animals based on the image input data, you have images of a cat and dogs. Your algorithm classifies them and outputs either it's a dog or a cat. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Whereas in quantitative, it is continuous. Suppose based on the body mass index and weight, you're going to predict what could be the height of the person. So height is continuous, 5 feet 4 inches, correct?
Yes.
5 feet 5 inches, 6 inches. It is continuous. Do you think if I say that the height is 5 feet 6 inches, do you think my measurement stops? No, right?
No.
There will be some number after 6 inches, right? But just to state the fact, we'll only stop for these 2 points. Like up, we'll stop till 6 inches. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So your height is continuous. Even the weight is continuous. If I say that person A is weighing 60 kgs, do you think the number is 100% 60? Like whether he is weighing exactly 60? No, right?
No.
It could be like 60.12035546 like that. So coming to, is this weird? It is anomaly. To give you clarity about anomaly, it is more or less similar to your classification, but here it's the data will be too less to understand. I mean, it's not like it happens your very often. Like it happens very rare. Like your credit card fraud, you will have 1 million transaction. Okay, how many fraud you think you will find in this 1 million? Hardly 10. Correct?
Yes, sir. Very small amount.
In terms of banking fraud, how many Vijaya Malyas you will find? Very less, right?
Yes.
So SBI lends loan to everyone. Almost it might have lended loan to almost 10 crore people. But how many Vijaya Malyas came out of 10 crore people? Only one, right? That we heard of. Maybe around 10-15 people like Nirav Modi. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is the speciality of the data set when it comes to classifying whether it's an anomaly or not. Okay, something like your when you go to your Gmail, how many of you how many of you are aware that there is a spam folder also in your emails?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All the spam mails go and settle in over there, right? You don't have to do anything. Google already does it. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And one more point about anomaly is that anomaly data is not like you can predict very easily. It hides out. Okay. So suppose an example, you swipe for 400. Okay. You go to shopping and you swipe your credit card with for 400 rupees. Okay. After around 1 hour, there is one more swipe of around 200 rupees on your card, physical swipe in California. Do you think it's anomaly? So when you have 1 million data, suppose you have 10,000 rows of data, okay, of credit card, and you have to find out the credit card fraud. Okay, how would you identify this anomaly? when you see the amount, it just hides out, right? 200 is not a big amount. That person might do 200 rupee, might take out 200 rupee from everyone's credit card, and some might not even know that they have lost 200. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So only way to understand this is while understanding the data, you have to see where exactly the fraud has happened, like from which country he has swiped. Correct? The person who is having no history of foreign travel finds that his credit card is being used in California for 200 rupees. So that's an anomaly, correct?
Yes, sir.
So is it clear? So coming to regression. So I want to sell my car. Okay. I'm selling my car, which is red in color. Is mileage of around 17 kilometers, having horsepower of around 5000, RPM of another 5000. Okay. And it is age of around 7 years old. So what could be the price of the car? Do you think this is a regression problem? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So based on all the input features like what is the mileage, what is the number of years old, how many kilometers it has run. Finally, I predict what the selling price is, correct? You might have seen the websites like cardecor.com where they sell the used cars, correct?
Yes, sir.
Used cars, your used two-wheelers. They use these regression models to predict the market prices, correct? So coming to clustering. The earlier I gave you one example of giving pebbles to a child, right?
Yes, sir.
So that example is of clustering, it's not of classification. Okay. Clustering is nothing but grouping. So based on the physical features, so how do they appear? Based on the color tone, based on how the eyes look, we can classify whether it's a person is Indian or a Chinese or a Japanese. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So I go to a supermarket. So what you do is you note down the phone number of every customer, okay, making the purchase. I take the phone number of making the purchase, and then I notice one thing. There is group G1. They purchase your lace, ice cream, sweets, correct? Some candies. There is G2, the second group. They purchase rice, wheat, dal, oil, okay? And the third group, they purchase notebook, refill, diary, notepad, etc. Okay. How can I group them?
Based
So
on
the
the similarity which the two items have, two or three.
correct. The group one has already purchased only lace, ice cream, sweets, candies. Correct. It could be children visiting the shop. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So that is group one. So do you think I can offer some discount on this one? Some sale on ice cream, some weekend sale on ice cream, some discount on sweets. Correct. To attract the group one.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And the group two, that is who purchases rice, wheat, dal. It could be people who do some grocery shopping. Correct. So the best thing to do here is we can send some offer messages to them saying that we are having some discount on purchase of some 5 kg rice. Correct.
Yes, sir.
The third group is the people who purchase to notebook, refill diary. It could be students, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So to make give them more attractive option, we have to send other flyers saying buy one notebook get one free. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So this is called clustering. You are clustering the group based on the features, and each feature something like you. How many of you are aware about the credit card? Everybody knows about credit card. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So how your banking, your debit card is related to your savings bank. So credit card is something like your bank will give you the card with some margin. Suppose you have a margin of around 60,000. The card will have around 60,000 margin, and whenever you spend anything, it keeps on getting subtracted from this. So ultimately, at the end of the month, you will get the credit card bill. So you have to pay the bill, and it gets added to the back to 60,000. Okay. So banks, what they do while issuing the credit card, so they have to attract the customers. How do they do is they try to classify the credit card into, classify the type of customers into two. So one is your shopping category, the other one is your traveling category. Correct? Any example for shopping cards? No one? Like your SBI Big Bazaar card? Okay, correct?
Yes, sir.
Or your IndusInd Bank shopping card? So what they do is they'll only post offers on related to the shopping. Wherever there is an offer, they keep giving the ads to the particular customer so that they can maximize the sales. Correct? And coming to the traveling cards, maybe it could be IRCTC card. IRCTC card, correct? Whenever you use SBI IRCTC card, you get some discount while making the payment. Correct? So, if do you think it makes sense for any bank to go on classifying, like go on making grouping to every category? Shall I make some more categories here, like only for groceries, only for petrol? Correct? What others? Only for online purchase, online Flipkart purchase, and one more for only Amazon purchase. Can I do this? No, right? Because bank's operating cost will increase, correct? Ultimately, bank will be working on how? Is nothing but your sales minus revenue equal to profit, correct? If I keep on making different varieties of card for different type of a customer, so what will happen is my revenue will increase, correct? So if my revenue increases, what will happen to my profit?
Decreases.
Decreases, right? So what they do is they try to limit to only total 4 categories. I have mentioned 2 categories already here. The other categories are with respect to the premium categories. Like there is less shopping and less traveling people, and for one more is hybrid. I mean both are hybrid categories. That is for like VIP users or platinum users, like that. Correct? So coming to the next, that is last one, is reinforcement learning. So one of the best example what I can give you is your Elon Musk having self-driving cars, right? How many of you have seen the news or seen the video in YouTube about self-driving cars? Nobody?
Just heard the news, sir.
Correct. So it works on a concept called reinforcement learning. So I'll just show you the video on how exactly this concept is. Here, what they do is they make a model, and they make the model to walk. Somewhere here, yes. So they made a small model, and they first try to teach the model to walk, and they will establish certain parameters. So based on that, the model will learn itself like how to walk. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
See, the model is walking, and in few places it struggles to climb the steps, but it learns automatically by itself to how to stretch the legs, and then it learns in the next iteration. See. So this concepts is used more in video games also. So nobody is doing any programming here, it is learning by itself. You can go to Google and type it like DeepMind robot walk. Okay. So in case you feel it very difficult to understand the concepts, don't worry about it. It's totally okay. It takes some time to understand the topics. We will try to go as slow as possible and as simple as possible in the next few classes. Like when we teach about all the concepts, we will teach it very slow and in a steady manner, and we will keep it very simple. Clear? Even if you don't get the concept anything today, it doesn't matter. It's just an introduction to give you the whole idea of how it is. Clear? So
Yes,
coming to the application, in the telephone application, so didn't you witness Geo offering free data? They offered free Geo data, right, for 1 year.
yes, sir.
So now what they're doing is they are offering free mobile data, right? Small competitive pack mobile packs. All the decisions are coming from data driven only, right? They're doing churn analysis. Churn analysis is nothing like they are going to predict whether the customer is happy with the service and we're going to stay, or whether the customer is not happy with the service and will switch to any other service. That is called churn. Okay. So whenever Geo comes to know that you might have seen that when you send a port code to port your SIM from one to another, they keep calling you to understand what is the issue, how it is going, why exactly they're leaving, correct? So there is also another method to understand from the data whether the person will default or not based on the usage history, based on how exactly you're using the data, how exactly you're using the voice calls with respect to your initial usage. Based on that, they will predict whether you're going to churn, we are going to switch to any other network or not. There is upsell or cross sell also. Like you might have seen, like Geo is selling smartphones globally, correct? Recently, the news came up saying that from September 10, they are going to sell cost-effective smartphones. Correct. In the past, also Geo had sold the phones where the SIM was by default you had to use Geo SIM only. You cannot use any other SIM. Correct.
Yes, sir.
So that is nothing but cross sell, upsell. That is also, and also it involves product bundling. So coming to healthcare, data science has having a huge usage in healthcare also, like your clinical trial of new drugs, your A/B testing. A/B testing is nothing like to understand whether treatment A will work on the patient or treatment B is works on the patient. Then there is genetic analysis. Do you know that one strand of our DNA has 350 GB of data? One small strand of DNA has 350 GB of data. That means whole human body has having a lot of information, and yet nobody has even did any analysis to understand what are the information, what are the anomalies that human data is holding. There's still a lot of analysis, and we are yet to reach. Our learning is not even 0.0001% about ourselves. So data science, don't you think data science will have a huge impact on this segment? And the fourth application here is, I think you are already witnessing how the global pandemic forecast, how the forecast is going on, what controls they are taking, correct?
Yes, sir.
Coming to banking and finance also, I have given you certain case studies on fraud detection, correct? Whether the transaction is fraud or not, whether the loan will be repaid by the customer or not. And to understand customer segmentation, I gave you the example of how the banking will make different segments to issue the credit card. It could be a shopping customer, it could be a traveling customer, correct? There is risk management also, where you use the data of the loans, housing loan or personal loan, and see that whether any customer will default from paying it. Then there is portfolio optimization, where you optimize the portfolio with respect to different holdings, whether any of your holding is not performing well or not. Based on that, you analyze and give the insights to your customers. It's used in energy and utility also, like predictive maintenance. You predict, you know that the components which we use in energy or utilities, like the one which I showed here in the photo. Each and every wing cost millions of dollars. Suppose that gets stolen, it will be very difficult to purchase once again because it will cost too much, correct? So you need to have smart systems over there to prevent it. Even your electricity, certain cities will have more electricity usage, certain villages will not have so much of usage. So don't you think we need some smart methods to predict where the electricity usage is more and supply more over there before we have any load shedding? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So that is called dynamic balancing, dynamic resource balancing. So that basically the usage is more or less similar only, but it changes from sector to sector. Maybe in the supply chain you have a different name for it. They give fancy word for every segment, but ultimately the end goal is the same only. Correct? So coming to retail also, self-paced optimization. We started our session today with identifying what will be the best item to place with next to bread butter. Correct? We do market basket analysis to have a better recommendation engine. We do product bundling also for that. We do a lot of promotions to based on the purchase history. We do some upsells or cross sells based on what customers likes in retail. We had the case study of book A and book B purchased by from our Jeff Bezos case study. So coming to project life cycle. So I believe I had explained this earlier also. So I'll start with the same example of Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos in the year 1995, he wanted to analyze the data. So he gave the data to first to data analyst. So what do you think the first thing the data analyst did?
Collected the data.
Correct. Jeff Bezos himself collected the data because the Amazon was quite small during those days, and he gave the data. So first thing the analyst did was data processing. Because in 1994, do you think we had a smarter systems like barcode scanning and all? No, right? They were entering all the data manually, right?
Yes, sir.
And manual entry has a lot of issues, correct? So they had to do a lot of pre-processing before they use the data, before they analyze any data. So that is where your pre-processing step will come. After that, you have the processed data, you do the exploratory data analysis. During the year 1990, you had applied deeper statistics. 1999, you applied deeper statistics to analyze the data and to give better insights on what to recommend. Correct? After that, now 2021, Jeff Bezos is building machine learning model. Correct? So once your model is ready and it predicts that 81 of 100 people who purchased book A also purchased book B. Correct? That is the insight you are going to share. Do you think Jeff Bezos will allow you to deploy the model to globally? What do you think? You made a EDA. During your exploratory data analysis, you came to know that out of 100 people, 81 people are buying your book B also. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So do you think, and based on that insights, do you think Jeff Bezos will directly tell you to uh, kind of float the model and deploy it globally? No, right?
No, first they will test it in a
Correct.
particular place.
So in a particular small location, maybe in the city of Mangalore, he will only test it and see what the performance is, correct? So based on that, he will wait for one more decision from the market, correct? So only
Yes,
then,
sir.
once everything is ready, only then he is going to float it. Correct? So once the model is completely in the market, and time to time you have to make some corrections, right? So earlier we came to know that one of the product was selling at very high rate. After you implemented recommendation engine, the sales has gone down by 50%. That's not good idea, right? You have to go back and analyze like what went wrong, and you have to have the corrective measures also. So that is your whole life cycle of the data science project. So next few slides about that only. Your raw data collection through different databases like NoSQL, SQL databases or data warehouses, your Hadoop systems. Then you're going to cleaning the data, like you're removing the outliers, you're removing the missing data, like person's age is missing, you're deleting the malicious data, the person's age is a number. Can person's age be negative?
No.
No, right? So there will be some error in the data, right? You have to remove that. You have to correct it. So then even the coming to the formatting, there could be different formatting, right? The data could be inconsistent, it could be irrelevant. All these points will be very clear to you when you work on the project, when you work on have a physical, I mean practically when you work here on the live sessions. So today, even if you don't understand all the concepts, it's totally okay to you to keep it steady. Even if you understand 10% of this session is totally fine. It will be more clear to you when it comes to when starting the new sessions. Okay. See, as I explained earlier here, mobile number is missing, the telephone address is missing. So once you do some analysis and put the hard data from here, all the data is here available. But do you really need the mobile number to feed into machine learning model? Anybody? I feed a person's age. I feed the person's gender, whether it's male or a female. Okay. I feed some more details, whether height, weight. Do you think feeding mobile number is important? Can I make any sense from having data of mobile numbers? No, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I should feed? No, right? I should not feed, right? Having
Yes,
rows of
the
mobile number doesn't make sense, no?
was not required.
Correct. Having telephone number, no sense, right? At least if you have the address, at least you can do some plotting and see in global map like where exactly your customers are located. But having mobile number, it doesn't make sense, right? So instead
Yeah,
of
because just data is collected.
correct, data is
But
available, but for your
yeah,
analysis, you can just drop this column, right?
yeah. For
Correct.
business thing, the other data is more important than the mobile number.
Correct. You can just drop it. So these are the various data processing steps here. Coming to exploratory data analysis, it is more about understanding what the data wants to talk to, data wants to say, what data is having, what the data is hiding. Okay, it's all about pictorially showing what data is hiding. Okay, what you do is you discover patterns in the data, you spot the anomalies, you frame hypotheses or you frame assumptions and you check it. Like hypothesis could be like I predict that 50% of the customers are from Mangalore region, and when I actually do the analysis and see there is only 25% of the people who are from Mangalore region. So the my hypothesis is wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
So coming to machine learning, once again, based on the problem statement, you select the best model and you deploy. I mean, you make a machine learning model. You check, study the accuracy, how exactly it performs, and ultimately, after everything, you're going to communicate the results to the management. Communicate your results to your customer, and take their opinion whether to deploy your machine learning model or how to test it, what needs to be done, what are the insights you found in your EDA, exploratory data analysis, what could be the steps that will help to cover the business through EDA, like on the correlation part or anything, correct? Ultimately, you're going to present everything to your stakeholders. So that is the total concept of your data science project lifecycle. We'll stop the class till today. I mean to this part. So what we do is we will upload a lot of starter kits on statistics as well as Python in coming days. Have a look of those and try to understand it very clearly. When you come to next class, we will update you when the next class is. When you come to next class, what we do is we will try to brush up the concepts once again, and we'll explain you. We'll start with all the concepts in Python, statistics, and then we'll straight away start with data manipulation, like initial stages of data processing. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can stay back and you can ask the doubt. In case you don't have any doubts, you can leave for the day.
So good afternoon all. Before you leave, just fill this form and share your experience about today's session and give your proper communication details. Say example, whenever there is a class, no, we can able to communicate. Anymore, what we'll do is we'll send an email and also we'll update in the LMS. Okay, so I think we can. Avinash, you can take over. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody has any doubts?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.